dear friends. Today I want to talk about the ways that we escape from ourselves, from our truth, from the way we feel about ourselves, about the world, about things we do. Um, yes, and I will be very honest with how I managed to escape from myself and what is going on inside of me. Um, and let's say the first thing that I know since I don't know, in high school, I know I was very externalized. I was always very interested in other people, in their stories, and how to deal with things. I really was not very present in my core, so it's a very sad way that I used to exist in, but I used to exist through other people. I used to be a people pleaser. So this means that you are basically denying yourself um, and honoring other people or idealizing other people and what they do. And this all came from the inner feeling of not being good enough or feeling shame about myself or guilt or all sorts of nasty feelings that I didn't want to confront. So let's say that was my first way of escapism, was through external world, through dealing with people, being busy all the time, having tons of friends, being available for them 24/7 on the phone, on email, in person. uh, Always that I don't know, a friend would call me up, Eva, we're going to do that, are you coming up? I always said yes. I rarely said no, really. I was always out there where things were happening. um, which I'm not saying this is a wrong thing. It's a very good thing. I love to experience new let's say adventures, and I like to explore new things in life or meet new people. But I think I managed to do this like to an extent where I completely denied myself, and that was definitely not good. So that was one way. And what I know it's happening, let's say, if you escape in one way and you don't heal and you don't deal with inner emotions, or you don't do the inner work, then the escapism will just shift into something else. Let's say you can be an alcoholic, and then at some point you'll be able to stop drinking, and then you'll start to binge eating. Yeah. Or it will go from binge eating to smoking, or it will be from smoking to gambling, or whatever else. This energy within you that was not addressed will find a new way to express itself. So you will not stop escaping yourself until you deal with the problem which is within you. And yeah, so I've been escaping through other people, not paying attention to myself at all, not taking time for myself to really listen and hear what's going on. Then the second thing was when I was at the college, and then later at university, obsessive drinking, let's say. And I know majority of youth is going through that. Um, but I remember times when I really wanted to uh, just drink myself to oblivion. And now looking back, I know that was something um, dark within me that was driving this behavior, because I remember I was always the last one at the party or at the concert we went to, and I didn't want to leave. I was trying to, okay, so where do we go now? Like I never stopped. Um, and yeah, so let's say that was the second quite obvious escapism now looking back. Um, then the third one, which was quite an escapism that was very hard for me to deal with, was I used to be a love addict, meaning I always had to be in a relationship to function. So I went from one relationship to the other, and I'm still a bit vulnerable to talk about that, um, because I basically could not stand on my own 2 feet. Therefore, I had to um, be dependent. They call it codependency as well. I had to depend on the person, on the male figure next to me. So, and this was, it played out in many sorts of ways. I'll go deeper into this in later videos, also in connection to hyperdimensional interference. But the dynamic within this kind of relationship, um, as much as you can have fun and things are very exciting, underneath, like on the emotional level, mental level, things can be quite dysfunctional and toxic. And I really had to, um, I had to take myself out of the relationship, which felt for me like a withdrawal from a drug. Um, I went through horrible few months where I thought I'm just going to die. So it was very similar to, yeah, any kind of withdrawal. You're an addict, so it's not any different from drugs, from alcohol, from gambling, from internet, or relationships, or sex, or any other. It's the same issue lies underneath. So you need to address that issue. And once I realized I'm a codependent and an addict, that I cannot function without the man in my life, um, I really I had enough strength to take myself out of relationship and then to deal with those shitty emotions that I didn't want to confront throughout my life. And yeah, the journey of healing started where I had to, let's say, unravel and heal layer after layer. And this is an ongoing journey. Um, but I'm telling you this, that until you stop all of your addictions, and this can be, as I said, it can be watching YouTube half a day, it can be those the visible ones as drugs and alcohol and gambling and sexual addictions. These addictions can be also uh, unseen. That's why just with the like a bigger awareness you can tackle them, you can see them, you can be aware of them. And these ones are, let's say, self-sabotage, self-denying, overthinking and analyzing. It can be escapism to fantasy world, not wanting to be here, grounded and in action. um, what else? There are many and various ways of how we escape from our truth of our spirit. And whatever you obsessively do and you spend loads of time on is definitely something that can be destructive and dysfunctional and taking you away from the flow of life, which is there for you to nourish you, to replenish you, to bring you abundance, joy, to give you fulfillment and purpose in your life. So basically, unfortunately, we were all programmed to run away from the best within us. And we are all losing because of this. Because imagine the world where all of us would be really tapped into our spirit, to our potential, to our goodness, to the joy and love that we have um, within, and to share the creativity that comes through, the wisdom, the divine wisdom that we can bring to this 3D matrix world and transform it. It's like we are really trained to avoid the beauty in us. And um, let's say part of my uh, mission, if I put it like this, is to talk about it and to address that, and to really talk about the best within us, because it's unexplored. There's just a fraction of people, of humanity, that live their life from their essence, from their power, from their beautiful potential and creativity. So I think it's so important for all of us to tap into this space and overcome everything that's standing in the way. And I think addictions are one of the biggest chunks of um, what our minds created to keep ourselves encapsulated in the structure of the mind, in the egoic structure that doesn't allow the spirit to flow freely and express itself. Yeah, and let this be enough for today. I will continue in the next video. So have a beautiful day and speak to you very soon. Subscribe if you sync with this content, and see you very soon. Yeah, bye bye.